Batman reaches Silent Hill at 2:13 in the morning. The Batmobile dies before the town sign even appears. No engine failure, no EMP signature, no mechanical damage. It just stops like the car has decided it does not want to go any closer. Outside the windshield, the road disappears into white fog, and Batman's detective mode begins returning impossible data. No heat signatures, no wind direction, no stable map geometry. Then the siren starts. Slow. Industrial. Wrong. Ash begins falling onto the hood, even though the sky is clear. Bruce steps out, cape dragging across the cracked asphalt, and somewhere inside the fog, metal scrapes against concrete, and the question is not whether Batman can beat a monster. The question is whether the world's greatest detective can survive a town that weaponizes the one thing he cannot punch. Here are the rules. Batman enters with his standard tactical suit, utility belt, cowl sensors, rebreather, smoke pellets, grapnel, explosive gel, sonic emitters, and enough paranoia to make a military bunker feel underprepared. No Alfred, no Batwing, no Justice League extraction. The Batmobile is dead behind him. His objective is simple: survive the town, identify the threat, and find an exit without breaking his no-kill rule. Which sounds fair until you remember this is Silent Hill. This place does not scale by muscle mass. It scales by guilt, repression, denial, trauma, and how badly the victim needs to believe they are in control. So obviously Batman is a perfectly healthy candidate. Chapter 1. The Fog World. Silent Hill is not a battlefield. A battlefield has geometry, distance, cover, line of sight, rules. Batman loves rules. Silent Hill edits rules while you are standing inside them. Fog reduces visibility, but that is the boring part. The real problem is sensor contradiction. Thermal imaging sees nothing. LiDAR returns walls that are not there. The compass rotates 90 degrees and then politely gives up. For a normal human, this creates panic. Panic raises heart rate, narrows perception, and pushes the brain into survival mode. Batman can control that. He can lower his breathing, suppress fear response, and keep his prefrontal cortex online under conditions that would turn most people into screaming furniture. But Silent Hill does not need him scared immediately. It needs him curious, because every mystery is a hook, and Batman follows hooks for a living. The first contact comes low to the ground. A shape crawls between two abandoned cars, wrapped in wet skin-like tissue, limbs folded wrong, body dragging through puddles that reflect a sky Batman cannot see. The radio on his belt screams static, then the creature exhales. A burst of corrosive vapor sprays across the street. For a normal human, this is where the lungs become the crime scene. Acidic aerosol attacks the mucous membranes, burns the airway, and triggers involuntary choking. You cannot fight if your body is busy trying not to drown in its own inflammation. Batman's cowl seals instantly. Rebreather online. Cape up. He pivots behind the car door, lets the vapor roll over the armor, then fires a line into the creature's legs and anchors it to a parking meter. Efficient, non-lethal, very Batman. Survival tier for the first monster, tier A. Physically, Batman clears it. The suit protects him. The rebreather counters the gas. The creature has no tactical intelligence. But that is not the real problem. The real problem is that Batman just proved how he reacts to chemical threat, low visibility, and moral ambiguity. And Silent Hill is watching. Chapter 2. The Stillness Trap. The street loops. Batman walks north for 6 minutes and returns to the same pharmacy window. Inside, 12 mannequins stand in the dark. No heat. No pulse, no breathing, no chemical trace. Objects. Batman enters anyway, because apparently being the world's greatest detective also means seeing a cursed building and thinking, yes, I should inspect that. Healthy instincts. He scans the room. Nothing moves. Then the lights flicker. One mannequin is closer. Batman turns. Another is behind him. Here is where the physics gets interesting. Batman's threat detection is built around biological tells. Motion, heat, pressure shifts, sound, muscle tension, intent. But a Silent Hill mannequin does not advertise intent. It behaves like furniture until the moment the room decides it was never furniture. So Batman changes the test. He does not scan the monster, he scans the environment. Dust displacement, floor pressure, broken glass angle, reflection mismatch in the cracked mirror. The next flicker hits, and Batman is already moving. He drops 3 microsonic pulses into the floor, mapping every object by vibration. The mannequin lunges from the blind spot and meets a reinforced boot to the torso, followed by a cable restraint around both legs. Survival tier B+. He adapts fast, but the tier drops because his main detection stack failed first. And in Silent Hill, every failed system becomes a door. Chapter 3. The Hospital. The pharmacy door opens into a hospital corridor. Not outside, not the street, a hospital. Because geography has officially stopped pretending. The fluorescent lights buzz at a frequency just low enough to irritate the nervous system. Wet tile reflects empty beds. Curtains move when there is no air current. Somewhere down the hall, a wheelchair rolls by itself and stops facing Batman. Then the nurse appears, still at first, head tilted, face hidden. A medical tool hanging from one hand. Batman does not attack. He waits. Good call. Because one nurse is not the threat. The hallway is. Doors open behind him. 3 more figures step out. Then 5. Then 8. Their movement is wrong, delayed, twitching, puppet-like. Not fast in a clean athletic way, but unpredictable in a way that ruins timing. Human fighters telegraph through shoulders, hips, knees. These things move like the signal reaches the body out of order. For a normal human, panic fills the delay. You swing early, you miss, you get surrounded. Batman uses the opposite strategy. He narrows the corridor. Smoke pellet, flash pulse, grapnel to the ceiling pipe. He moves vertically because most things shaped like humans still think horizontally. He drops behind the group, disables 2 with joint locks, trips 3 into a surgical cart, and seals the fire door with explosive gel. No kill, no panic, clean exit. Almost, because the wall beside him now has a patient chart with his name on it. Not Bruce Wayne, Batman. And under diagnosis, one word keeps printing again and again: responsibility. Chapter 4. The Otherworld. The siren returns. This time the town answers. Paint peels from the walls in long strips. Tile becomes rusted grate. The ceiling lifts into darkness. Pipes burst through the corridor like exposed veins, dripping black water onto the floor. The hospital is gone. The Otherworld is awake. Now the threat changes from infection and ambush to compression, heat, metal, and mechanical force. A heavy silhouette blocks the hall ahead. Long arms, swollen body. Slow steps that make the grate bend under its weight. Batman tries the standard rule. Do not trade strength with something built like a nightmare refrigerator. He fires a grapnel line into the overhead pipe and swings over it. The creature turns faster than expected. Its arm hits the wall where Batman was half a second earlier, and the impact folds the metal inward. That matters. If that strike lands directly, armor dispersion helps, but not enough. Batman's suit can spread kinetic energy across plates. It cannot politely ask his organs to ignore sudden deceleration, so he uses mass against mass. Explosive gel on the pipe joint. Sonic pulse to draw the creature forward. The floor gives way under its own weight, dropping the brute into the maintenance pit below. Survival tier B. He survives because he refuses the obvious fight. But his cape is torn, one gauntlet is cracked, and the rebreather filter is now at 40%. Silent Hill has stopped testing whether he can fight. It is testing how long he can stay Batman while every tool fails. Chapter 5. The Guilt Engine. Batman finds the exit sign at the end of the hall. That should be good news. It is not. The door opens into an alley. Rain, brick walls, a broken streetlight, pearls scattered across wet pavement. Bruce stops moving. Not Batman. Bruce. For the first time in the simulation, his breathing changes. That is the biological danger of trauma. The brain does not store certain memories like normal video files. It stores them with alarm systems attached. Smell, sound, lighting, spatial layout. Any of it can pull the body backward in time before logic catches up. Batman can resist fear toxin. He can compartmentalize pain. He can interrogate murderers while bleeding internally. But Silent Hill is not injecting fear. It is rebuilding the room where fear learned his name. 2 silhouettes stand at the far end of the alley. Faces hidden, still, waiting. Batman knows they are not real. His body does not care. Then the alley stretches. Windows appear on both sides filled with shadowy figures. Victims, strangers, people he did not save. People Gotham kept producing faster than one man could rescue them. The math is impossible. That is the trap. Batman's entire mission is built on refusing impossible math. One more second, one more rooftop, one more life, one more night. Silent Hill turns that into architecture. The walls lean inward. The figures do not attack, they just watch. For most characters, this becomes a breakdown. For Batman, it becomes something worse, a problem to solve. And that obsession is exactly how the town keeps him moving deeper. Chapter 6, Judgment. The alley ends inside a chamber that should not fit inside the hospital. Rust, fog, red flowers growing through the metal floor. Beautiful at first, then wrong. Roots slide under the grating like veins. Petals drift through the air and stick to Batman's armor. Every bloom opens toward him like an eye. At the center of the chamber stands a figure shaped like Batman, white cracked eyes. But the details dissolve into smoke and rust. The shadow double does not speak, it does not need to, it moves like him, waits like him, judges like him. Then the executioner arrives. A massive triangular silhouette pushes through the fog, dragging a blade across the floor. Every scrape sounds less like metal and more like a sentence being written. Here's the final trap. Batman thinks in enemies. Identify, analyze, counter, contain. But this is not an enemy in the normal sense. The executioner is not here because it wants a clean fight. It is a symbolic pressure system, judgment made physical. The shadow double attacks first. Same stance, same timing, same restraint. Batman counters once, twice, 3 times. Every strike he lands makes the chamber bloom harder. Red flowers spread over the walls. The executioner steps closer. Because violence is feeding the verdict. That is where the simulation almost breaks him. The shadow double forces a hostage scenario. A distant sidekick-shaped silhouette appears behind rusted bars. Not a confirmed person. Not a memory he can trust. Just enough color in the fog to make his body move before his mind can stop it. Batman rushes. The executioner raises the blade. And for 1 second, the town gives him the easy answer. Kill the shadow, end the trap, save the figure, prove he is strong enough. Batman stops, not because he is calm, because he finally understands the rule. Silent Hill cannot be beaten by becoming the thing it accuses you of being. He lowers his fist. The shadow double lunges. Batman lets it hit him. Armor cracks. He hits the floor hard enough to spit blood into the rust water, but he does not kill it. He does not accept the verdict. He fires the last grapnel into the ceiling, pulls himself through the collapsing bloom, and reaches the exit as the chamber folds behind him. The executioner does not chase. It watches. Because punishment only works if the condemned agrees. Batman does not. Chapter 7, Final Verdict. Could Batman survive Silent Hill? Yes, but barely. Physical monsters are not the deciding factor. The lying figure, mannequins, nurses, and brute entities are dangerous. But Batman has the armor, reaction time, stealth discipline, and tactical creativity to survive those encounters. Against the physical layer, he ranks Tier A. The problem is the town. Silent Hill attacks his strongest traits: investigation, guilt, responsibility, control, and refusal to abandon a life. It does not beat Batman by overpowering him. It almost beats him by making him prove himself forever. That drops the total survival rating to Tier B+. Alive, damaged, not conquered. Not clean. Batman escapes because his no-kill rule is not just a limitation. It is the anchor that keeps him from becoming the monster the town is trying to sculpt. So yes, Batman survives Silent Hill. He just needs broken armor, collapsing lungs, psychological trauma, and the emotional vacation package from hell. Very relaxing. But the important part is this: Batman does not defeat Silent Hill. He denies it ownership. And in a town built to turn guilt into a prison, that might be the closest thing to winning.